emerged much stronger. This period has shown that there are points of compatibility and strength in the India-Russia strategic partnership that both sides can count on, both sides can depend on and use to mutual benefit. And the indicators of that are pretty clear. The contact and communication at the highest level between our leaders, India and Russia, has been kept constant. Prime Minister Modi and President Putin met in Samarkand physically, but they also have had a number of telephone conversations. Our External Affairs Minister was here in Moscow, Foreign Minister Lavrov was there in Delhi. Our National Security Advisor has visited Russia and has been in constant touch. And there are a number of other contacts that are continuing. India-Russia bilateral trade has almost doubled. It is a record. It shows the strength of our bilateral relationship to adapt to difficult and unforeseen, unpredictable international circumstances. Our major projects, either be it in the area of defense, our flagship nuclear project in the Kudankulam area has been doing well. Space cooperation is progressive. We might ask ourselves the question, why is it that India-Russia relations is able to withstand international challenges unlike so many other countries? There have been a number of international geopolitical transitions. Geopolitical transition of 1945-1947. The geopolitical transition of the Cold War, the geopolitical transition of the Sino-Soviet split, the geopolitical transition of the rapprochement between the United States and China, the breakup of the Soviet Union in 1991-92, and thereafter the present transition of the big split that has come in international relations between Russia and the collective West. But in each of these transitions, not only has India-Russia relations been able to withstand this change, but each stage has emerged stronger. The three reasons I think are not just the absence of any fundamental conflict between India and Russia, but actually a convergence of national interest and geopolitical interests. Second is the excellent level of understanding, mutual trust and communication between our leaders, and this is exemplified by the very strong personal relationship that exists between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Putin, and this has been seen on a number of occasions. Thirdly, I think there is still a very strong public sentiment in both countries that each of the people think well and wish well for the other. Let me say a few things about multipolarity. Surely multipolarity is an objective for both India and Russia, but it is also an objective fact in international relations today. The strategic genius of Mr. Primakov was to visualize multipolarity not only as a conceptual objective, but he also enumerated conceptual instruments for its attainment. But his vision and his time of multipolarity has changed. In the late 90s and the early 2000s, multipolarity was visualized as Russia, India, China. But I think the world has become far more complicated. It has evolved. So I think there is need for us to understand multipolarity in a more dynamic fashion. And I would put forward 6 principles that we may keep in mind to understand and adapt to the current requirements of multipolarity. However, the first principle is that by definition, multipolarity means we say no to unipolarity and domination. And in one sense, you can understand the conflict between Russia and Ukraine that is presently taking place, and you see it in the historical context. It is Russia's way of saying it will not accept a unipolarity in Europe, and it will not accept the domination that it entailed. The second point is that multipolarity assumes that each of the poles will have strategic autonomy and choice. That is true of India, very much so. It is true of the Russian Federation. But for each pole to emerge in its own right, the strategic autonomy is a necessity. Third, by talking about strategic autonomy does not exclude partnership. And partnership that is mutually beneficial and is underwritten by mutual benefit. So partnership also means no exclusivity. There will be freedom amongst the poles of the multipolar world to interact with each other, to find the best balance, the most advantageous balance of interests that will take place. Fourth, it also means that the world will not be safe if there are permanent divisions. The world has emerged after the Cold War, and we all are witness to the dangers of permanent divisions. While some form of conflict is unavoidable, I think the pathway and the doorways to dialogue should be open, should be kept open, and every pathway for dialogue should be used to explore how to bring down divisions. And this is in this spirit, I think we need to understand Prime Minister Modi's call that this is not an era of war, because he also not just represents the spirit of the Indian approach, but a sentiment across the world that peace is better than war. It is more advantageous, it gives more benefits, and the international system is more sustainable. The fifth is that it should be driven by the ideals of mutual benefit and mutual trust. The sixth, the last point, is that multipolarity requires effective multilateralism, reform of multilateralism. That while the poles can cooperate with each other, there is also interest and benefit in a larger international system that is driven by a strong, vibrant, reformed, multilateral structures. It is in this spirit that we approach 2023 with great hope. India will be chairing the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. India will be chairing the G20. Of course, these are extremely important bodies in their own rights, and India will be taking over the chairmanship of these two very important bodies at a critical time in the international situation. Prime Minister Modi's open article that has been published sets out the philosophy, our objectives, our ambitions. The title of the G20 summit that will take place in India later next year is One Earth, One Family, One Future. But I can assure you that as far as India is concerned, our partnership with Russia will remain one of the pillars of our external engagement, both bilaterally and in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and in the G20. With that, I will thank you.